Friday rally for corn and soybeans and the breakup about the USDA's WASD report. Right here with Jerry Gidel on Connected Farmer, your channel to keep you up to date with the latest trends in agriculture and livestock. So Jerry, we end up the week in green before we jump into the report itself. Let's talk about this Friday closure.
Well, we've been initially we were kind of shaky on things because of the report, but really the big star on Friday was wheat, and to some extent, it has been the laggard here over the last 6 or 8 weeks. Really, this time of year it's somewhat quiet in the world of exports and activity. The northern hemisphere is in winter and everything's in dormancy and things like that. But to some extent, the conditions in Ukraine and Russia have been tenuous, in my opinion, all this winter, is that they haven't had a lot of snow and their conditions have been warmer than normal. That puts the wheat crop over there in danger of some type of cold snap, and that was some of the factor that came in here on Friday. It looks like on the wheat that really was the one that, and also I think the fact that the we did have some cool weather a while back, and we didn't get as far down on this Thursday. Coldness into Oklahoma and Texas, but that is an area that also doesn't have much snow cover. We had plenty in Kansas and Nebraska, and so those are important states, but also Oklahoma and Texas are in winter wheat in the U.S. And right now, I don't think that there's a lot of forecasted snow for the cold snap that we're going to get here in the Midwest. We're supposed to be down below zero, be anywhere from 5 to 10 below. And if that does sneak down into Oklahoma and Texas, which is not impossible, I think that's was it. And the market was vulnerable with lots of shorts in it. And once it started rallying, it made a dramatic move all the way back up to $6. We haven't been to $6 in quite some time. So
We also had some production adjustments for South America during this week.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It depends on which side of the which one you want to look at. We had some adjustments here from Conab. They decreased Rio Grande do Sul and increased Paraná and Rio and Mato Grosso by one. So and then had a small adjustment someplace else. So they were down by 300,000 tons, down to 1.69 from 1.63. Uh, on their number. The interesting thing is that the USDA's numbers that we had earlier in the week, we had really some interesting twists there too. Not so much in beans. That was the previous comments were. Our previous ideas were in the beans there from Conab. They had a minor decline in corn, but the twist of it in Argentina was the big adjustments there from the USDA, and that to reduce their crop size down there in corn, and rightly so. It's been pretty dry down there. We finally did get a rain midweek this week, which was very uh, good for them to extend their potential. I don't know that we still have some dryness ahead of us again, but in general, the South American crops got a drink this week in Argentina and dried out a little bit in beans, dried out in Brazil to help the bean harvest, and which really is also going to help get the corn plantings going. At this point, we are, well, originally this time of year, we're in the kind of the downstroke of plantings down there. Last year, we weren't all that good about it. It looks like we're going to be in the same situation here. I think at the best, I haven't seen a number for this week at this point, but I suspect we're going to be in the 30 to 40% level on corn plantings, which it's probably comparable to 60, 70% or more. So that does put vulnerability in the corn longer in Brazil's output. But right now, at least, that's not really the focus. They're watching the bean harvest here and getting it in. There has been some good reports and some disappointing reports in Brazil. That's the reason why Conab kept their stuff together, and other people have that. But there's still people out there in South America that we want to be optimistic about a 170 to 73 million metric ton bean crop. Maybe it's there. We'll find out, I guess, as we get further
Well,
along.
and also we can't skip on the background the bird flu talks.
Oh, yes. Well, the bird flu talks continue to kind of permeate the U.S. Demand structure, and that from the standpoint that uh, they've kind of ratcheted back up here in the last month or so. Uh, it seems like that the new administration wants to challenge everything and saying whatever has been going on is no good, and that so that's prompted some re-looking at things, and that's also prompted some lack of oh concentration on that issue. There's some people complaining about, and rightly so. Right now, that's the big thing in the Trump administration is that everything that's gone on before must not be any good. So we're going to challenge everything. And that one of those issues is to look at all the trade relationships we have around the world, not so much even on tariffs, but also on VATs and other deals going on. So it's we're going to have all kinds of these things going on and ideas through by April 1st. They're going to supposedly have it all done. We'll find out what's happened with that. But we need to keep continuing to fight these battles. And unfortunately, with the administration threatening firings and things like that, they went ahead with two or three different departments of in Washington and that. And also, a lot of people have just decided to offer their resignations. And so that's also going to, in the ideas of this administration, their approach is that there's better to have less people than more people, but the same situation is that some of these issues are going to not have the kind of attention they should as quick as they should because of the fact that there's not personnel there that has been watching and dealing with it and not going to be available for this administration to provide a better approach to some of these issues like bird flu.
All right. So, what about the U.S. Outlook at the WASDE report?
Well, the WASI report this week turned out to be one of the more classic, uh, excuse me, classic kind of we'll wait and see here on stuff. Many times in the past, this February report just left everything and demand unchanged. There were some minor expectations. I was probably one of the forefront people in looking at our trends on exports and crush, and that anticipating the fact that they would at least make some adjustments. But considering all the things that are swirling around in Washington at this point, they went ahead and left corn and soybeans supply, excuse me, the demand side. The supply has already been determined back in the January final reports on corn, wheat, and beans. But while leaving that, they're kind of waiting to see what South America is going to do, which is appropriate at times. And that, and at this point, considering all the other things that are swirling around in Washington, that's probably not a bad approach. But it was disappointing versus the trade's expectation. But it didn't last very long. It kind of backed things off on Tuesday when it occurred, and then it kind of kept creeping back from there. From the standpoint that it found support in its kind of 100-day moving averages, its uptrend lines, things like that. And so the markets then kind of bounced back at the end of the week. From there, uh, uh, with even some reports out of South America that their crop size was going to be closer to 170 than the 171 or 72. And we also had some purchases to unknown and also to Colombia and here, which is interesting because everybody's kind of feels like that everybody's going to get some type of tax. Since it hasn't left at this point, just because you buy it, it doesn't guarantee you won't have some kind of export tariff on things going out to various places. One of the things, a couple things here going forward into next week and ahead of us here that were kind of announced at this point was the fact that in the on Tuesday of this coming week, we're going to get an update again on our U.S. soybean crush. Uh, we had a record level in December. We had a few days off, of course, around the Christmas holidays that prompted a little bit of a slippage on that. And we did have half a week or so of reaction to the Trump administration's being installed here about different things on that. But it came back with some very strong numbers. I'm kind of anticipating a 208 million crush that'll be announced on Tuesday, and that'll be the trade's looking for 204.5. Both of these are records, by the way. So nothing is. We're still very strong on our meal demand and soybean meal crush type situation, so that's a positive. From there, the what's this? And at this point, the markets in as we look at things, it's going to be quite important how we come back after the president's holiday here on Monday. From there, wheat particularly is going to be quite interesting. You're right up at the top of a major moving average at 200 days at $6 and the psychology at $6. So kind of feel like that we might be just a little chattering here at $6, but weather will determine it. If we get some cold weather here in the U.S. that could damage the wheat, and the same thing in Russia will probably be the big factors we steer into next week's markets.
All right. We'll check back. Thank you very much.
You bet. Looking forward to another short week. We only have 4 days of trading coming up.
All right.